For those of you complaining I don't have any music in my videos, here's a Thanksgiving tune for you. We're at our test facility. Let's open the door and see what we're driving this week. Looks like we've got ourselves a Volkswagen Atlas SUV. The main selling point of the Atlas is the low starting price of around $32,000 compared to the awesome large size. Lots of room in there. Very few second row seats will actually fit 3 adults, but I guess we can do so here. We do get third row seating, and with the third row seats folded, there's a lot of cargo space, even more if you get the second row down. And with the second row seats folded, you have even more room. I read in the spec sheet something about 155 cubic feet. It said passenger space, but I guess it must be cargo space as well. But it's plenty, trust me. There are 3 things we want to do when we get a vehicle now. Number 1, check and see if there's a spare tire. You'd be amazed at the number of vehicles that don't have one, and yep, there's one under there somewhere. And the jack. The second thing we want to do is check out the headlights and see what they do in the dark. We'll do that right now too. Well, it's dark enough. Let's take these lights out and see what they do. Alright, now we have the engine running. We're driving on the street. Let's see what happens in the low beam on a wall 100 feet away. Very bright, decent height. High beams look pretty good. Here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Not bad, considering how dark it is out there. And here we have the brights only building 300 feet away. Good widespread, lots of light. Go to low beam. Doesn't quite go out that far, but good enough for city driving. I'd say it passes. The third item I want to do when I get a vehicle is check the safety nannies and see how many I can turn off. And there's one I do want to turn off called lane assist, which is really, to me, lane interference. What it does, it wants to make sure you're staying in the center lane on the freeway. If it doesn't like the way you're doing that, it takes over the steering wheel and fights you. Or if you change lanes without using the turn signal, it really fights you. Most cars have a switch to turn that off. This does not. In order to turn it off, you either have to go through a program on the dash or a program on the infotainment system, which I pulled up. Just press the active or inactive, turns it off. According to the owner's manual, page 153, you have to do this every single time you start the car. If that was true, this would be a deal killer. I don't want to do this every time I start the car, but I can tell you, I've driven 200 miles in this vehicle already. I turned it off about 4 days ago, and it stayed off, so apparently it's not going to be a problem. It really massages my ego when I'm right and the owner's manual's wrong. I also did a video on the excellent 2020 Kia Telluride. We'll have a link for that video coming up after this video. And we also have the 2021 Kia Seltos. We'll have a link for that video at the end of this video as well. So you're getting 3 tests for the price of 1. The base engine is a 4-cylinder putting out 235 horsepower, rated 21 in the city, 24 mpg on the highway. This is a deluxe model, so we got the V6 putting out 276 horsepower with all-wheel drive, rated 16 in the city, 22 on the highway. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the base price is $32,000 for a vehicle this big is a bargain, I think, but the Germans love sticking options on to get in your wallet. This is the deluxe model with everything on it. The V6 SEL Premium R line, no options. Just one base price for all, $51,715. Yep. And he gives you the R emblem so all your neighbors will know you put up the extra coin, but look at the bright side, there were no options. There's nothing fancy about this cabin. The materials and workmanship are fine, but again, nothing fancy. For $30,000, I wouldn't complain, but give it to $50,000, I think some people might bitch. No complaints about the function. We got a large glove box. Climate controls, very easy and simple to use. We get a nice large gauge cluster, and you can pull up the navigation up here if you want, as well as the infotainment screen. And you have a setting here for snow, normal, off-road, off-road custom with some adjustments I haven't done. First half of the video, show and tell, is over. Second half, we're going to do some driving, get some real-world fuel economy readings. Let's carry on. And these giant 21-inch wheels and big tires should be interesting to see how the ride quality is. As we do in all of my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps at 20 miles per hour, see how the suspension performs on impact, as well as these big tires. Bump number 1. Felt the tires moving, but the suspension sucked it up pretty good. Number 2. Heard it, but didn't feel it. Number 3. And here's the nasty one. This should be interesting. Whoa, heard that one, but you know, the suspension does a pretty good job of absorbing all the impacts that you would expect with these giant wheels and tires. So thumping and bumping, yeah, but more than acceptable considering. I'm not complaining. The power steering is typical Volkswagen, way too light for me, but on the positive side, it's quick and responsive enough. And most of the soccer moms driving this won't like steering because it's easier to park, so overall, I don't think there's going to be any complaints. I can live with this. With 276 horses pulling a weight of around 4,350 pounds, you're not going to lay any rubber on your 0 to 60 time, but press it down, it gets going quick enough. Brakes work pretty nice, as I would hope on a German car. Well, partial German car. The engine's made in Germany, the transmission is from Japan, and it's made in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with 24% of the parts coming from Mexico. For those who care about those things. We're going to take this Atlas on a highway trip, approximately 100 miles, see what the fuel economy is. And it's Thanksgiving today, so I'm sure the traffic's going to be nuts and all the crazy drivers are going to be trying to kill me with their cars. But we'll do the best we can. We've got a lot of slow pokes blocking traffic today. That means I might have to do a lot of passing. So if the in-fuel economy is not as impressive as you want it to be, that's why. I have to say, this Atlas is a very comfortable vehicle to drive on the freeway. The wind noise is surprisingly low for something that's shaped like a big bread box. The stability is excellent. Driving position is very good. No complaints thus far. We racked up 111 miles, averaging 19.2 mpg. Slightly close to the 22 mpg claimed, but like I said, it's Thanksgiving. I do a lot of passing from the slowpokes and old geezers, so it is what it is. Maybe we'll do some more fuel economy tests later. I'm going to take a return trip, and I put in some high-octane fuel instead of regular unleaded. Maybe that'll bump up the numbers a little bit. Then again, maybe not. We'll find out soon enough. Well, we got 19.2 going to and 21.9 coming back. Now, is that because of better driving conditions? Or because I was using high-octane gas on the way back? Is it worth the extra 50 cents a gallon for the high-octane for this improved fuel economy? Yeah, probably not. But do what you want to do. Standard unleaded, premium. If you own this car, try both octanes and see how it works for you. This isn't an Audi or a Porsche, but it is a German car, so it should have some guts in these tight corners. So let's put the pedal to the metal and find out. You can shift the transmission manually if you want, which comes in handy when you're taking curved roads like this. Overall, this is holding the road pretty good, by the way. Impressive for a large SUV that's not intended to be driven like this. Here comes the super tight corner. Now let's put it in the off-road mode. Pretty smooth considering. It's a good thing we have the excellent traction of all-wheel drive, because I wouldn't want to go over that edge. Long drop. Here's another hairy drop-off. Doesn't look far on the camera, but it is. Driving with the sun in your face doesn't help. We got some nasty ripples on this road. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Those big tires do not like this. I think we have to keep it around 5 to 10 miles per hour. This is not a Ford Raptor. So racing around these tight mountain roads and doing some off-roading, 16.9 mpg. That's not bad. Another 4x4s, I've seen a lot worse. So what's my take on the Atlas after a week of driving? It all comes down to price. If you want the V6 without all the goodies, the SE version gives you that for around $36,000, which is certainly reasonable. If you plan on doing any off-roading, or you live where the roads are slick from rain or snow, you can get the all-wheel drive system for $1,900 extra. On the other hand, if you live where the roads are dry, you really don't need all-wheel drive. You can save yourself $2,000. If you can snag yourself an Atlas with V6 for around $35,000, I'd say it's a pretty decent deal, especially if you need a lot of room to haul cargo and people. And this it does certainly very well. So here's some other SUVs in this price class we've driven and did videos on. Just click and watch.